Hello and a very warm welcome to Saints Live. I'm Kenzie Benali.
And I'm Steve Forbes.
And we're here at St Mary's Stadium where tonight Southampton will be looking to progress to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup as they take on West Ham. Now joining us throughout the evening is former Saints captain Dean Hammond and Premier League reporter Paul Belveston from the comfort of their own home as well, looking nice and toasty unlike the last time we saw you. Dean, how are you doing?
I'm very well, guys. Very well, thank you. Like you say, a little bit different to not be at St Mary's, but yeah, nice and warm today, I must admit, which is quite nice.
Oh, he's smug, isn't
Lucky
he?
Dean.
Belvers, good to see you again. Exciting night ahead in the FA Cup. You looking forward to it?
Absolutely. If it matches the excitement of the last two games, especially Friday under the lights, that'll do me. Another 2-0 win will be lovely, please.
It certainly would be. We can't wait for it, and it's lovely to see you guys again. Now, the team news will be coming up in about 15 minutes' time. The early news is that Nathan Teller, Lianco and Alex McCarthy, they're all still out, but there are no fresh injury concerns. So, Dean, if this was a Premier League game, we'd probably be expecting an unchanged side, but as it's the Cup, do you think Ralph may change it up a wee bit?
I'm not sure, Steve, to be honest. I think he potentially could. I'd like to see him to go with the same team. I think this is a really, really good opportunity against West Ham at home to progress in the competition. I think the manager's got lots of considerations. I think if you look at it, West Ham have had 2 days less time to recover. So is that an advantage? What promises has the manager made to certain members of the squad? Will they get an opportunity in cup games? Which has allowed him to be patient in terms of selection in the league. Also, the change of shape. You know, when Southampton went to West Ham a few weeks ago and played a kind of 4-1-4-1 system, it worked really, really well against West Ham and came away with a victory. And there's obviously options within the squad. The team's been playing so well at the moment, and we speak about it all the time, the relationships, the partnerships that have been built within the group and in the team now. I'd like to see that continue. I really, really would. But I think the manager potentially could make 1 or 2 changes tonight. And I don't think that necessarily weakens Southampton. I really don't. I think, like I say, there's some quality players within this group, and they'll be very, very keen to get their opportunity. You could see Perraud coming back into the team at left back, and then it depends who plays at right back. Will Cole Walker-Peters play at right back, or Livramento continue at right back? Diallo could come into midfield, Theo Walcott, Adam Armstrong. There's lots of options for the manager and lots of considerations. But personally, I would love to see him go with the same team because I really fancy Southampton to get a really positive result tonight. But also, from a manager's point of view, in terms of potentially keeping this group of players happy, I think he could make a couple of changes.
Well, that's an interesting point there that Dean's just made. Obviously, we've been speaking a lot about the strength and depth of late at Southampton. So changes or not, we should be seeing a strong Southampton side. But do you expect Ralph to make changes this evening?
He made 10 changes for the last game, didn't he, against Coventry? I don't think it'll be anything like that again this time. But he said in his pre-match press conference there would be some changes. Now, he never likes to give too much away in those sorts of briefings. But yeah, like Dean, I think there's a few sort of like-for-like changes we could see. We don't know yet if Willy Caballero's back. He wasn't even on the bench against Norwich, but he could come in as he has done and perform very well against Coventry, didn't he? Jack Stevens maybe for Jan Bednarek. Dean mentioned Perraud coming back as well. Maybe Jan Valery might get a look in. I can see perhaps Stuart Armstrong being rested after only recently coming back from injury, but who's played and started, I think, the last 5 Premier League games in a row. So there might be a few kind of cautious calls here, perhaps. And there are so many players who can fit into those wide positions. Theo Walcott, Nathan Redmond, Moussa Djenepo as well. So I think up front, it wouldn't be a huge surprise to see Adam Armstrong come in. Perhaps Romano Broja. We forget that he's only 20 years old. And he is playing an awful lot of football. I think he started 11 of the last 12 Premier League games and performed very, very well. But the formation is an interesting one for me. I think they have played that system that Dean mentioned in both games against West Ham this season, picked up 4 points in those matches in the Premier League as well. So Ralph may well think, I've got a recipe for success against this team, and perhaps have a tinker in the formation-wise.
Yeah, we'll find out shortly if Ralph has had a tinker with the team. But before we go any further, let's take a look back at how Saints got past Norwich on Friday night.
Let's hope just for a little couple of hours tonight, Southampton fans can enjoy their team giving us all a bit of a winning spirited lift for a couple of hours. Gets to the byline, touches onto his left foot in the penalty area, sends it back towards Sargent, who fires it right-footed, blocked, back out again, and off the hand of Forster, who flung himself to his right. And Ward-Prowse will whip it to the back stick, off Brozier, shot down from Elyounoussi, hits Gunn on the leg, and balloons out of the box. Here it comes from the left, whipped in, curled in viciously, header down, and Shea Adams had a free header 6 yards out. Trying to work those positions, and Livramento picks it up as Williams slips, pulls it back, and surely they have to score, and they do. Shea Adams couldn't have made that any harder, but he won't care. He finally bundles it over the line. Feeds Armstrong into the box. Oh, he's hit it straight at the Norwich defender. Back to Carl Walker-Peters, and somehow his perfect volley, he's managed to hit straight at the goalkeeper towards the penalty spot. Goes over everybody. They all miss it. 2 Saints players on the floor. Norwich recover quickly. Oh, and that's a free header, and it should have been on target. Gibson this time guilty. Lovely ball from Armstrong. Elyounoussi can finish it. Oh, and it almost went through Gunn's hands. Good header away. Romeo will volley it. Oh my word! Oh my word! That is some finish. Southampton's unbeaten home run in the Premier League stretches to 10 matches.
Highlights there of Southampton's 2-0 win over Norwich here at St Mary's on Friday night. Now, Dean, we saw Oriol Romeu score an absolute cracker in that game, but what impressed you most about his overall performance?
Everything, Steve. I thought he was fantastic again, and I think the biggest thing you can say about Oriol at the moment is his consistency. The way he controls games, he's been exceptional. His decision making is top draw at the moment. He's controlling games from the centre of the field. His weight of pass, his distribution, the variety that he's got in his game now. So when he keeps it simple, when he keeps possession, you know, the highlights, the way he uses his body, his awareness, and awareness in the central midfield is so important of bodies around you, your opposition, your teammates. And like I say, his distribution has been fantastic, whether it's a switcher play, whether it's a simple pass. And obviously the mentality to be really calm in possession and really composed. And then when he needs to win the ball back, he becomes really aggressive and really competitive. And he has that switch. And fantastic player, and really, really good. Love watching him playing. And having the privilege in the last 2 games to watch him live as well, been really able to appreciate what a player he is. And obviously the goal he scored was fantastic. He just has brilliant technique. And it doesn't always quite happen like that for Oriol. You know, a few strikes tend to go over the bar, but it's a brilliant strike. It's a fantastic technique. And as soon as that leaves his foot, it's in the back of the net. But he is brilliant. And him and James Ward-Prowse, they really complement each other. The partnership they've got is fantastic, and I think he's improving so much all the time. And I just love watching him play because, like I say, he's so composed, and now he's not always looking for that safe pass. There is that variation. He'll go for that big switch. He'll go for that splitting pass into the 2 number 10s or the ball over the top. I just think he's a brilliant footballer, and his consistency and his performances have been a big reason why Southampton have been so impressive of late. So brilliant to watch, and you know, I can only appreciate him as a former midfield player. I think Southampton are very, very lucky because I think he's one of the best for the job he does. He's one of the best in the Premier League, and I really believe that.
Oh yeah, we love him, don't we? Well, that's back-to-back clean sheets for Southampton at home now, Belvis. What did you make of the way we defended against Norwich, and also the decision to change to a back 3 towards the end of the match?
I think a lot of people who weren't watching or paying attention to the match won't be surprised to see a 2-0 scoreline, and even that Norwich only had the 1 shot on target over the 90 minutes. But you know, that doesn't tell the story at all. They arrived at St Mary's. They were in fighting form. They have not given up on staying in the Premier League this season. They are together. They believe in what they're doing, and they put in a pretty decent showing, especially in the second half. They had a very good 15-20 minute spell where they looked like they were most likely to score the second goal. That's when Ralph switched it, brought on Jack Stevens, went to the back 3, and I think that says so much about this Southampton outfit at the moment, that they are so versatile. In the past, They've been perhaps a little bit predictable, a little bit one-dimensional. Now, though, they can switch seamlessly between 3 at the back, 4 at the back. They can play a number of different roles or formations within all that as well. And it was then that they really snuffed the game out, and Romeo came up with that extraordinary goal. I think there's a big mental change within this squad as well, because a couple of seasons ago, Southampton would have found a way to drop points in that match. You know, the opposition coming on top for a little spell in the second half, that would have been it. It would have finished 1-1. They might even have gone on to lose the game. This lot are built differently, though. There is a real strength, togetherness, real belief in what they do. They know their jobs, they know what they're doing, and they work for each other so tirelessly hard. So everything about that performance, I thought, spoke volumes, and only positive things as well. They defended so very well. I think there are plenty more clean sheets to come before the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't know if it says more about the opponents, Dean, that Southampton have faced just one shot on target in the last 2 games, but regardless, it will be encouraging for Ralph, because after 15 games without a clean sheet, they've now got 2 in a row.
Yes, I think huge positives. I think any good team is built on in terms of defensively and keeping clean sheets and being strong defensively. And Southampton have really proved that over the last 2 games. And I think the central midfield partnership have given a lot of protection to the back 4. The 2 centre halves have been exceptional. I think Bednarak has come into some really, really good form. Salisu, I think, is getting it better all the time. But also, you look on the flip of that, Southampton have had more possession and been in more control of the games. So not allowing the opposition to have the ball, to be able to create chances. So Paul's mentioned there's a real togetherness within the Southampton team, a real understanding of what is expected, high energy levels that have been able to be more consistent over the 90 minutes. It's not just in patches now. It's through that duration of the 90 minutes, not allowing teams to get back into the game. So Southampton have been excellent. They really have. And we looked at it early in the season. I was looking at the games. I think Southampton during September and October kept 5 clean sheets, and I think there was 3 1-0 win during that period. And then after that, we kind of wanted more from Southampton in terms of an attacking sense, to bring more to the game, to create more chances. They tried to implement that and then lost a few games. But at the moment, I think the team's got the balance right. I think they're creating chances. They look really exciting to watch. But defensively, as a team, are really, really strong as well. So the manager will be very happy at the moment, because the performances have been excellent. And they've obviously been backed up by some fantastic results as well.
Balvas, let's talk Moy Elyounoussi, because he started each of the last 4 matches. What did you make of his performance against Norwich? Because he could have at least got 1 goal on Friday night. And what do you make of his impact in the final third as well?
I think he should have done, really, shouldn't he? I was umming and ahhing on Friday night whether he is just unlucky or should do better. I think there is an element of both, but he's certainly upped his game. And after Stuart Armstrong, who's the out-and-out standout performer in that sort of wide number 10 role, Moy Elyounoussi is the sort of the best of the rest. I don't think, Nathan Redmond had that run of assists earlier on in the season. Theo Walcott's never really caught fire, neither's Moussa Djenepo recently. So I think, he has deserved his place, and he's getting in some terrific positions, causing a lot of problems. He was exceptional against Spurs. He was so unlucky not to score here. But I thought it was interesting that after the game, he was asked about the fact that he's still not actually scored a competitive goal at St Mary's. He scored one in a friendly, I think was it against Celta Vigo, but in a competitive match, not yet. And he admitted that it has been playing on his mind a little bit. So when he's getting in these positions, especially if there is a fraction of a second where a thought can pop into his head, he is perhaps snatching at these shots and not giving himself the best chance. But he is, for me, a huge surprise this season. He had those 2 years on loan at Celtic. I heard someone on a far more inferior station than ours talking about how wonderfully well he'd done at Celtic. He wasn't actually a huge regular. I think he only started 23 Premiership games up in Scotland, something like that. He was very much in and out. He had a foot injury in the first season that caused him to miss a lot of games. But, he certainly didn't come back as a more well-rounded player, someone who was pushing, knocking at the door, saying, right, I'm definitely one of your starters now.
Belvers, my apologies. I'm going to jump in on you once again. I'm so sorry to do so, but we have got the team news. It's hot off the press, so we're going to bring you that now. It's actually 9 changes from the weekend. So let's take you through the team to face West Ham in the FA Cup this evening. In goal, it's Willy Caballero. At the back, Carl Walker-Peters, Jan Valery, Jack Stevens and Roman Perraud. In midfield, it's our captain, James Ward-Prowse and Ibrahima Diallo. Out wide, it's Moussa Djenepo and Will Smallbone, and up top is Shane Long and Adam Armstrong. The Saints substitutes are as follows then: Harry Lewis, Jan Bednarek, Tino Livramento, Oriol Romeu, Nathan Redmond, Theo Walcott, Stuart Armstrong and Shay Adams. Belvers, I'm going to come back to you because I so rudely interrupted. A word on this starting 11 then, because I don't think we were expecting to see so many changes tonight.
No, that really has taken me by surprise. It's arguably the biggest match of the season. You know, Southampton are safe, no relegation worries, which is lovely and unusual compared to recent seasons. So I think, you know, I saw a lot on social media, Southampton fans urging Ralph to stick with the same team that started against Norwich. 9 changes. I said at the start, 10 changes against Coventry. I can't imagine he's going to do anything like that again. So I've got that absolutely, completely wrong. There are a lot of players there who have a point to prove. There's an awful lot of talent in that team as well. But yeah, that has taken me greatly by surprise. I will say though, in Ralph we trust.
I think that's a pretty nice way to end that answer. Yeah. I mean, in Ralph we trust indeed, Dean. But again, a surprise to see so many changes. But as Belvis said, plenty of talent still in that starting 11. Do you think they can do the business against West Ham tonight?
100%. You know, they can definitely do the business, and they'll be more than competitive with that team. And one thing it does show, Kenzie, is that the manager's got trust in the players. You know, within his squad, that he's showing that. You know, it's easy to say as a manager, "Oh, I trust you. I'll use you. You're part of my thinking. You're part of the future. You're part of this process." But he's proven that now by selecting him in a huge game. Like Paul mentioned, arguably it's the biggest game of the season. So to put these players in is good for the players in terms of the spirit within the group. So look, it's going to be difficult because West Ham have got a strong team out, and West Ham are a very, very good team. But like you say, lots of talent within this team, lots of ability. And look, these players will be very, very happy they've been selected, and very, very happy for the opportunity, and very, very hungry to prove themselves and keep the shirt. If they go out and put a really, really good performance in tonight, that makes it even more difficult for Ralph for the next selection in the Premier League. So look, it is a surprise. There's no getting away from that. I don't think we expected 9 changes. Like we said a few minutes ago, we expected a couple of changes. But 9 changes is a lot. But like you say, lots of ability and lots of talent within this group, and they will give West Ham a good game. So it will be interesting, put it that way.
It certainly will be. Now, as we've just learned, Stuart Armstrong is on the bench for this evening. Now, he scored a stunning goal in the last round against Coventry, an equaliser that took it to extra time in a game that was far from straightforward, Paul. Absolutely.
Championship sides have given a lot of Premier League teams great problems this season, haven't they? And a fair few have been knocked out. I mean, this strike, it was absolutely sensational. I think the technical term is Oriol Romeu-like. A fantastic finish. And, you know, this was Stuart Armstrong showing what Southampton have been missing a little bit, what's to come in this second half of the season, because he has missed so much football in this campaign through injury. But, you know, Coventry were 11th in the table, something like that, certainly mid-table. They took the lead early on. They caused a lot of problems, arguably created the best chances in the game. And even after Carl Walker-Peters had essentially won it in extra time, only 6 or 7 minutes before the end, Coventry could still have forced penalties. They had a good few opportunities and even had a goal ruled out. So, you know, it was a real challenging game. And again, it sort of helps in all senses, doesn't it? Because it just adds to that feeling of, right, no chance, any hint of complacency can come in any shape or form, in any game. And then when you're up against bottom of the table, Norwich, like happened on Friday, games like that where you can get a bit of a scare, I think it all helps and adds to the strong mentality.
Absolutely. Now, Dean, Armando Broja was the focal point of Southampton's attack at the London Stadium in the last meeting. He, of course, is being rested this evening. It's a great opportunity for Adam Armstrong tonight.
It really is. You know, Adam Armstrong has had to be patient. He really, really has. But, you know, Broja has been exceptional. He's been really, really good. Even a bit of a surprise, really, with how far he's developed and how far he's come along and how important he's been for the team. But, you know, Adam Armstrong is an exceptional player as well, a talented player, and probably the most natural goal scorer at the club, really. If you look at his finishes, if you look at his history, the season he had last year with Blackburn, I think he'll be buzzing for his chance tonight and his opportunity to kind of just remind the manager of what a top-class player he is, remind the members of the squad of why he came to Southampton. He'll want to play and he'll want to prove himself. And I think he, like you say, he gets that opportunity tonight and he scores all different types of goal. And, you know, one thing I've been impressed with Adam Armstrong is his pace. I didn't realise how quick he was. And obviously his work rate as well. He's worked really hard for the team when he's played, you know, unselfishly as well with the runs that he's making. He's not scored as many goals as probably he would have liked and as many goals as we wish he would have scored. He's had to be patient. He's had to sit on the bench and kind of watch the team do so well. So he'll be really energised tonight and want to put a really good performance on. And I'm sure he'll be very, very eager to score a goal. So good luck to him tonight and I hope he takes his opportunity.
Now, Paul, West Ham scraped past Kidderminster Harriers in the last round. Do you expect them to be focused on the FA Cup, or do you think they're not really bothered considering they're still trying to get into the Champions League places?
Well, given the way I predicted the Southampton lineup, you'll be surprised to hear that I've got the West Ham one completely wrong as well. It's an enormous 10 days, 2 weeks for West Ham because they've got FA Cup. They're pushing for the top four. They're in a great position at the moment, 5th, level on points with Manchester United, although Arsenal are really breathing down their necks, level on points with, I think actually, yeah, it's all very tight up there anyway, but Arsenal have got some games in hand. And they go to Liverpool this weekend, West Ham. So you'd think that would be a bigger game for them than this, especially when they've got Sevilla in the Europa League just on Thursday, the first leg of that last 16 tie. West Ham never really been great in that competition. Even when it was the UEFA Cup, they tended to always get knocked out in the preliminary rounds. So the fact they've made it through to the knockout stage, that's huge for them. Potential of qualifying for the Champions League next season is enormous. So I thought if something was going to give, it was going to be this game tonight. But while Ralph Hasenhüttl's made 9 changes from the last game, David Moyes has named 9 of the same starting 11 that beat Wolves. So that it really has taken me by surprise. You do hope that there might be 1 or 2 thoughts at the backs of minds that have their eyes on arguably bigger targets, and they perhaps don't want to go in full-blooded for all challenges. I'm not sure if that ever really happens. You know, Dean's the one to ask that whether that can ever take 1 or 2% out of a performance. You know, let's hope it is possible and it does happen just to help us tonight.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's time now to take a look at the comments coming into us from the fans watching along at home. Hello to you, Paul King. He says, good luck, Saints. Dennis Diamond is also with us. Hello to you. He says, give it 100% Saints. Come on, you Reds. Brian Rich, good evening. He's going for a 3-1 win to the Saints tonight. David Gray says, come on, you Reds. It's going to be a tough game, but I think we'll win it 2-1. Saints Paris on YouTube is going for a 4-2 Saints win. Louis Jeffrey is also joining us on the live stream. Hello. He says, anyone fancy a James Ward-Prowse free kick tonight? You may as well add another one to the tally. And Stephen's got in touch as well. Hello, Stephen. He says, let's get to the quarterfinals. We can do it. Lovely to hear from the fans. As always, keep those comments coming into us. Now, Dean, an interesting one, because there's been a lot of chat, hasn't there, on social media saying that potentially tonight's match is more important than Saturday's game in terms of Southampton's season. Would you agree with that?
It's a great question, Kenzie, because it all depends on what the group, the manager, the players believe what they can achieve this season in terms of the league, what their aspirations are and what their targets are. And one thing I looked at it and I know it's the 12 points off a Champions League place, 10 points off the Europa place. But you look at the fixtures that Southampton have got left, and you look at the next 5 fixtures in particular against teams that you would think Southampton would be really have a real opportunity to win. Aston Villa, Newcastle, Watford, Burnley and Leeds. Now, if they go and win those games, look, it's difficult. Every game in the Premier League is really, really difficult. But the form that Southampton are in, they will really fancy their chances. So, look, this could be a reason why Ralph has changed the team tonight. Could be a reason why he's rotated the squad. Could be one of the reasons. But it all depends what they believe they can achieve. Now, if they think they can get a really high finish in the Premier League, that will take more importance than the FA Cup, really. It will be very, very difficult. But you look at the remaining, I think there's 12 fixtures left. The biggest games you look at, there's Arsenal, I think there's Chelsea and there's Liverpool. But the rest of the fixtures for Southampton are all winnable. Now, that's easier said than done. But like I say, the form that Southampton are in, so it all depends what the targets of the group are. But this is an important game tonight. And I would arguably, as a player, I think this is the most important game to Southampton because it's the next one. I always looked at it like the player. What is the next game? I know it's a boring saying and people hate hearing it, but the next game is the most important game because you lose tonight, you lose the next game, and everything suddenly seems a little bit different. The morale suddenly changes. There's a few questions asked of the manager of the players. But if you go and win tonight and then you go to Aston Villa and win that as well, you know, suddenly the season, like I said last week, is very, very exciting. So as a player, I always looked at it as the next one. But so I think it all depends what the group are thinking and what the targets are. But I would arguably say, like Paul has said, this is the biggest game of the season because there's a chance to get in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's certainly a huge game. Now, if we can look at the teams left in the competition, Paul, if Saints can progress tonight, what do you make of their prospects of making it even further in the competition?
Well, the top 3 in the Premier League are still in it at this stage, aren't they? Liverpool and Chelsea playing tonight. City already through. So, you know, if Southampton make it through this game against West Ham, it would be a real help if 2 of those 3 were drawn against each other in the quarterfinals. Saying that, of course, you know, there's been great performances against them all in very recent memory, beating Liverpool at St Mary's, 12, 13 months ago, 2 draws this season against Manchester City home and away, and only losing at Stamford Bridge on penalties in the EFL Cup. So, you know, absolutely nothing to fear there, but to make things easier, it would be nice if one of them knocked the other one out. And then the other teams in there, Crystal Palace, you know, I think Southampton have only lost once against them in the last 3-4 seasons, so that's not bad. Then you've got Everton. They're surely going to be focused on bigger things at the moment. They've been sucked right into the relegation battle. You'd be surprised if they slipped up against Boreham Wood this week, but, you know, we weren't expecting them to beat Bournemouth. So then you've got the likes of Borough, Nottingham Forest, Huddersfield, again, championship teams that have caused problems for many other Premier League sides in this competition. But again, you'd certainly feel Southampton were going into those games as favourites if they can replicate the performance levels and the energy levels and everything that we've seen against the likes of Tottenham, Everton, City, Norwich in recent weeks. So, you know, it'd be silly going into a last 16 tie to say it's coming home, first time since 76. But yeah, it's there's certainly nothing to fear there. Needs some very good performances from Southampton and perhaps a little bit of luck in the draw too.
And I tell you what, just seeing the words FA Cup quarter-finalists coming up on the screen makes you realise, Dean, just how close Wembley Stadium is. It's within touching distance. Which way do you see this one going tonight, and what's your score prediction?
Well, even with the changes, the rotation within the squad, I think there'll be a real excitement within the squad to progress. You know, the experience from last year of getting to the semi-final will be on the players' minds. The journey they went through and what the moments they experienced in that. The form they're in at St Mary's at the moment, and they have been all season. It's a fortress at St Mary's at the moment. And these players will be out to prove a point. And I agree with Paul. I think West Ham, not intentionally, some of the players will have their mind on other fixtures coming up. It's a really important stage of the season for West Ham. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Southampton win tonight.
Okay, I love the way he just glances his eyes across at Belvis to see his reaction. Belvis is going to do the classic. I was going to say that. But it's an interesting one because, of course, both sides have already met twice in the Premier League this season, but the Hammers are yet to get the better of Saints. Belvis, how do you see this one ending tonight?
2-1's not nearly optimistic enough. Yeah, I sort of played it down in my last answer. I maybe play it up now because, yeah, I really enjoyed last season's cup run, and I think that will have a lasting effect on the squad. I think there's a lot of hunger there. There's surely the performances that have been put in by the Premier League starting 11 recently are going to be pushing along those guys in the background who've got an opportunity tonight. You know, they must have been performing in training to get this chance. So I think, yeah, we're gonna see a Southampton win tonight against West Ham, and I have brought on a little friend of mine today. Maybe it is the second time that we see the FA Cup in Southampton. It's, you know, a bit bigger than that in real life, isn't it? But yeah, let's go 3-1. 3-1 Southampton.
3-1 and 2-1. I think we'd take either of those results as long as it was a place in the next round. Well, Dean and Paul, thank you so much for your company this evening. There's around 45 minutes to go until kick-off here at St Mary's, with a place in the FA Cup quarter-finals up for grabs. Do join us after the match on the final whistle, where we will be discussing the result and indeed all the major talking points. So enjoy the game, and we'll see you then.
Bye for now.